Welcome to my yoga channel. My name's Kate and today I'll be taking you through a short sequence to help deal with anyone who's dealing with any symptoms of stress and anxiety. In today's current climate, there are a lot of people who are currently going through difficult changes and are suffering with their mental health and are also suffering from the symptoms of stress and anxiety, me being one of them. So what I want to do for you guys today is to take you through this short sequence to help alleviate, or try and help alleviate, some of those symptoms. I'll also give you some advice and tips. So to start, let's come to a comfortable seated position. You can also come to lie down on the mat if that feels more comfortable for you. You can lie down fully reclined with your legs out in front of you, and you can bring your feet as wide as the mat and let them fall to one side. You can also place your back against a wall if you want some support right now. You can also come and sit like me with your legs crossed, maybe even sitting on a block. If you don't have a block, maybe sitting on a bolster, or even sitting on a big cushion or a rolled up blanket, just to give yourself a little bit of support. So when we sit on something, what that does is it helps to elevate the spine and lift it out of the pelvis, giving us a bit more space in the body to actually breathe. So it sort of increases the space for our diaphragm, etc. It also assists the knees in falling lower than the hips, which can be a nice stretch for the muscles in our legs, for our hip flexors, as if we spend all day sitting at a desk, they can become quite short because they're bent and upright. So just allowing that nice gentle release now, through the hips, allowing the tailbone, the seat bones to start to connect with whatever you're sitting on. Closing down the eyes and just starting to take some nice gentle breaths, nothing forced. Just starting to bring the awareness into the space that you're in right now. So being aware of your immediate surroundings, being aware of your body sitting on the mat, on the block, on the cushion, wherever it may be, or lying down. And just notice that sensation, notice how that feels. Connect with it. And then bringing the attention to the physical body, noticing the sensation of how the clothes feel against the skin. How is the skin feeling? Is it tingling? Goosebumps? Is it still? And again, we're just noticing and observing. We're not doing anything to change it. We are just being in this present space. And then allowing yourself to start to notice your breath. And how are you breathing right now? Are you breathing deeply? Or is your breath a little bit shallow? And if it's shallow, again, that's fine, don't need to change it. Just observe. Maybe notice how it makes you feel, that sensation. And maybe there isn't a sensation, that's also fine. Just be in your body, be here right now. Ignoring any external noises, sounds, disturbances. Knowing they're there, but not paying them any attention. Just letting them be. We'll start to take the breath a little bit deeper now. Starting to inhale through the nostrils. Take a nice deep breath and feel the chest expand all the way up to the collarbones. And then exhale. Gently blow the breath away through parted lips and feel the breath as it escapes the lips. And again, notice that sensation. How does that make you feel? This way of breathing can activate our parasympathetic nervous system. It can allow us or help us to calm our mind, to calm our ways of thinking. So continuing to breathe in this way, inhaling through the nose, lengthening through the spine as you do so, imagining there's a golden thread that's pulling you up from the top of your head all the way up to the ceiling on your inhale. And as you exhale, you release the breath. You settle down, pushing the tailbone, the seat bones into the block, into the mat. Growing roots into the earth. And again, inhaling, open through the chest, the lungs, the throat, the heart. Exhale. Making the exhale nice and long. Maybe even seeing the breath as it escapes the lips, seeing it flit away and spiral into the distance. And again, inhaling. Exhaling. Maybe even inhaling to the count of 4, exhaling to the count of 7. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Continuing like this for a few more moments. Allowing your exhale to be audible. Taking one more here, inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely. Gently blinking the eyes open. Just leaving the hands either in the lap, or you can take them to the knees. We're going to start softly bending into the neck. Just bringing the right ear down to the right shoulder. Inhaling to bring the head back up to center, and then exhaling to taking it down to the left hand side, just allowing the head to feel heavy as you bring it down. And then inhaling to bring it back to center, and exhaling, bringing it down to the right hand side again. Just finding some gentle movements in the neck. This is an area where we can hold a lot of tension and stress and worry, and it can become quite stiff. So taking these gentle movements can help to elevate the pain, elevate that resistance that you may be feeling. Just getting some movement, a good range of movement into this part of the body. Breathing into both sides of the neck, left and right. Taking one more inhaling, coming back to center, and then as you exhale, bring the right ear down to the right shoulder, and then exhaling, bringing the chest, bring the chin to the chest, and bringing the left ear across to the left shoulder. And then we'll take it back the other way, just taking these gentle swings, roundings of the neck and of the shoulders. Again, just to get a little bit more movement into the back of the neck, into the spine. And it can feel very meditative if you close down the eyes and just enjoy the sensations of moving the head from one side to the other. Obviously feeling, if you feel any discomfort or any dizziness, just bringing yourself back up and just continue with the head from side to side. Then coming back into the center, bringing your heart, your hands into prayer, bringing the palms together, pressing the thumbs into the chest. Again, closing the eyes for a second and feeling the sensation of the palms being pressed together. And just focusing on this. Taking a deep inhale for me. Filling the lungs, filling the belly, exhaling. Releasing the breath. And again, inhaling. Almost feeling yourself rising up, opening the chest, shine the heart forward, exhaling. Maybe even having a soft smile on the face. One more, inhale. And exhaling. Blinking the eyes open. We'll now move through a series called the Circle of Trust. So following my instructions, having the hands in prayer at heart center, taking the hands and clasping the fingers together and reaching them forwards, but allowing your palms to face upwards. So we're still sitting down on the mat, legs crossed if this is still comfortable for you. If it's not, you can bring the legs out to the sides just to free the legs, give the toes a little bit of a wiggle. On the inhale, draw your palms towards you, and as you exhale, push them away from you so palms are facing forward, rounding through the top of the spine. Inhale, start to lift the hands, they're still interlinked. And then as you exhale, we're hinging over to the right hand side. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling over to the left hand side. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, opening the palms nice and wide, spreading the arms, bringing the hands behind you, still interlacing the fingers. And then pushing the hands away from you on the inhale, opening the chest. And then exhaling, drawing that energy in, slightly rounding the shoulders, bringing the palms back together. And we'll repeat. Interlacing the fingers, allowing the palms to face upwards. Inhaling, drawing those hands towards you. Exhaling, pushing them away, opening the palms to the front of the room, rounding through the top of the spine, separating through the shoulder blades. Inhaling, we lift the arms up, maybe taking the gaze to the fingers if that feels comfortable for the neck. And then as we exhale, we dip over to the right hand side, just feeling that stretch to the left hand side of the ribs. Inhaling, coming back to center, and then exhaling, dipping over to the left hand side, feeling that lovely, lovely stretch through the right. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, spread the fingers wide. We release them, taking them all the way behind the back and interlacing the hands behind the back. Inhaling, straightening the arms, pushing the hands away from us, opening the chest, taking the gaze forward. Exhaling, drawing the hands round towards the front as if you're scooping in all of the energy and all of the positivity and bringing it round towards you and clasping it in the middle of your hands. Let's do that 2 more times. Clasping the hands together, palms facing upwards. Inhale, drawing that energy in towards you. Exhaling, pushing away. Inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up, feeling that lovely, lovely stretch. Exhaling, just hinging over to the right hand side. Inhaling, coming back to center. And exhaling, switching sides, keeping that soft smile on the face. Inhaling, coming back to center now. Exhaling, opening up through the hands, bringing the palms behind you, interlacing those fingers, and on the inhale, straighten through the arms, fingers are interlaced, opening through the chest, shining that heart forward. And then as we exhale, we draw that energy all the way back in, clasping the hands together. One more time, allowing those palms to face upwards. Inhaling, drawing them in towards you. Exhaling, rounding through the top of the shoulders, pushing them away. Inhaling, we lift the arms all the way up, gazing at the fingers if we can. Exhaling, opening up, hinging to the right hand side. Inhaling, we come back to center, and exhaling, hinge over to the left hand side. Inhaling, drawing the hands back up and over the head. Exhaling, drawing those hands behind us, creating that wide circle of trust. Drawing the hands behind us, lengthening through the arms as we inhale, opening the chest. And then as we exhale, we draw that circle of trust back around us, bringing the hands together in front of us and bringing them into prayer at heart center. Lovely. From here, we're going to come to an all fours position on the mat. So just removing your block from underneath you. Coming to your all fours. So in your all fours position, you want to make sure that your hands are nice and widely spread, that your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are hip width apart, and that you've got a nice neutral spine. And we're going to move through our cat-cow poses. So on the inhale, start to drop the belly, draw the shoulder blades together, and take the gaze up, just opening up through the throat. As you exhale, round through the shoulders, just push those hands into the mat, bending the elbows ever so slightly, scooping the belly in. Inhaling to open up through the chest, dipping the belly, drawing the shoulder blades together, just working with the spine and with the breath. And then exhaling, rounding through the back, working all of the vertebrae, really pushing yourself into the mat. And we'll work through 3 more of these, just taking them nice and slowly. Again, closing the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. It can feel very meditative, taking yourself through these gentle flowing motions, just keeping your focus on the movement and on the breath. If that feels uncomfortable for you and you don't want to be on all fours with your face facing down, you can bring yourself sit back onto your feet, bringing your knees together, and work through a variation of your cat-cows like this. Inhaling to open the chest, hands on the knees. Exhaling to round through the spine, still drawing the belly inwards, drawing the navel inwards. Exhaling to open. So we're still getting that lovely opening sensation in the chest, lengthening through the spine all the way through to the tailbone. We're just keeping the chest and the face a little bit more open. So finishing your cat-cow poses, staying in your all fours or coming to your all fours if you weren't already. Tucking your toes underneath, and on the inhale, start to lift your bottom up into the air, coming into your first downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you want to have your fingers nice and evenly spread. Nice long arms straightening out. You can have a micro bend in the elbows if you feel that you are quite flexible and you may be hyperextending, just to protect those joints. Engage through the shoulders. Have a nice bend in the knees to begin with, as we may not feel 100% flexible right away. And just start to pedal through the feet just to get the blood and the circulation going and just to work into our joints. And this can be an absolutely lovely pose to help relieve any stress or anxiety, as it encourages us to open the chest and breathe a little bit deeper and get that blood going, get that circulation going, and make us feel nice and revitalised. So breathing into the front and back of the ribs and the lungs, really expanding outwards. And then coming to stillness. So I'm now going to take you through a modified version of a vinyasa. And this is for anybody who doesn't want to take the full variation, but please feel free to do so if it's in your practice. So on your next exhale, start to bring your knees down onto the mat. And on the same exhale, bending the elbows, keeping them next to the ribs, bringing your chin and chest down. On the inhale, lifting yourself back up into your all fours and coming into your cow pose and just lengthening from the base of the skull all the way to the tip of the tailbone. So we're still feeling that stretch. And then tucking the toes on the exhale, bringing the bottom back to the heels and coming back into your downward facing dog. We'll move through that 2 more times. Inhale, and then as you exhale, hinging yourself forward so that your shoulders over your hands and lowering the knees down onto the mat. On that same exhale, flatten the feet, bending the elbows close to the ribs, bringing your chin and chest down. Inhaling, lifting yourself back up, using the strength in the shoulders. And then lengthening forward, opening the chest, shining the heart forward. Exhaling, tucking the toes, bringing the bottom back towards the heels and bringing the hips up into your downward facing dog. Lovely. 1 more time. Inhale, shifting the weight forward. Exhaling, bringing the knees down onto the mat. In the same exhale, flatten the feet, bending the elbows, bringing the chin and chest all the way down, or as far as is comfortable. Then on the inhale, lifting yourself back up, lengthening through the spine, taking the gaze forward, shining the heart forward. Exhaling, tucking the toes, sending the bottom back towards the heels and coming back into your downward facing dog. Lovely. Let's pedal through the feet. Just get some more movement into the body. Maybe even allowing the head to hang between the arms. Closing down the eyes, we're just keeping the gaze nice and still. Just finding that stillness for a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more inhale. And on the exhale, start to take your gaze forward nice and slowly. Just start to walk your hands to the front of your mat, bringing them in between the hands. And here, just allowing the head and shoulders to hang nice and low. Maybe even taking the hands around opposite elbows and swaying from side to side. Nodding the head, yes, shaking the head, no. Just allowing the blood to flow to the face, to the brain. Stilling the mind. And then slowly, with control, starting to uncurl through all of the vertebrae, lifting yourself up, drawing the shoulders up, head comes last. Bringing yourself up to a standing position. Inhaling, drawing the arms all the way up and over the head. Drawing the hands together in prayer at heart center. And then clasping the fingers and allowing your forefingers to face upwards. And just enjoy a nice stretch, opening through the chest, open through the heart, open through the lungs. Again, having a soft smile on the face, just enjoying the sensation. And then as you exhale, allowing the hands to swing to the side. On your next breath, step your right foot back, keeping your left foot forward. So right foot should be angled at around 90 degrees. Left foot is facing straight in front of you. And if you can, have your left heel level with the arch of your right foot. On your next breath, bring your arms so they are now parallel with your mat. Lengthen through the tailbone, so we're not tucking it underneath, we're just taking it long. So we have taking it long, so we have length from the base of the spine all the way down to the tip of the tailbone. Inhale, start to reach forward with your left hand, and then exhaling, bringing that left hand onto the inside of the left shin, bringing your right hand up into the sky. This is your involved triangle pose. So here, just checking our positioning, just pushing all of our toes into the mat, especially the blade edge of the right foot. Just making sure we've got that grounding. And when we push off the blade edge of the right foot, what that does is it helps us pivot and open up through the right hip. So rolling your right hip back, rolling your left hip forward, just finding that length through the torso and holding here. This can be great for getting some energy, just opening the chest, feeling revitalized. If it's painful to take the gaze up, just take the gaze down. We'll hold here for another couple of breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And on the next inhale, bending the front knee, bringing yourself back up. And bringing the hands parallel, bringing the hands down to the side. Now here, you want to get either a block or a chair if you need something to balance on. Placing whatever that thing is in front of you, and maybe just taking a step or two back. Still staying in the position of left foot forward, right foot behind you. Bending your left knee and bringing your left hand down onto your support. So it could be the back of a chair, it could be the block. Then when you're ready, starting to take your body's weight into your left leg and inhaling, bringing your right leg up, coming into your balance. So if you're a beginner, just bringing the right hand onto the right hip. If you feel comfortable to do so, just taking the right hand up into the air. And you're just holding here for a couple of breaths. Just really stabilizing yourself through that left leg. Just allowing it to give you that support. And again, opening up through the chest, kicking that right heel away from you. Just drawing the energy upwards, spreading the fingers on the right hand nice and widely. And taking your last breath here. Taking the gaze down bending through that left knee, dropping the right foot down and bringing the hands back up. And we'll repeat on the other side, so just popping your block or moving your chair to the other end of the mat as we're going to be switching sides, rotating both of the feet to face in the opposite direction. So this time, right foot is facing forward, left foot is angled around 90 degrees, and just to remind, right heel is level with the arch of the left foot. Taking the arms out nice and wide, finding your stability. Inhaling, we reach forward from our left hip, and then as we exhale, we bring that right hand onto the inside of the right shin, left hand comes up into the air. So again, remembering, inhaling, we open the chest by rotating our top hip back, parking our left hip, our bottom hip forward to create that length through the torso to open the chest. So this doesn't mean we need to be all the way down the leg. It can mean that our hand is even quite far up the shin. It's all about having that length and opening sensation in the chest. And again, you can take the gaze down if that feels more comfortable for the neck. Then taking some nice deep belly breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. One more inhale. And on the exhaling, bending the front knee, coming back up and straightening through the legs. Lovely. Again, finding your support in front of you. Maybe bringing your left hand onto your left hip this time. Bending through the front knee, so this will be your right knee. Finding that support, whether it's the chair or the block, or maybe just the wall. Placing your hand on the support, stabilizing through the front leg, and then on the breath, starting to lift up through the left leg, keeping the toes of the right foot firmly planted onto the mat, and then opening up through the left hip, maybe even taking the left hand up into the sky, opening the chest, focusing the mind on the breath and on the pose. And again, maybe having that soft smile on the face. The pose won't last forever, I promise. Very good. Taking one more breath here. And we gently bend through the front knee, bringing that left hand maybe back onto the left hip and bringing yourself back, both feet firmly planted onto the mat. Lovely. Let's work the feet in towards each other. Bring ourselves back to face the front of the mat. Inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up and over the head. Again, feeling that lovely stretch, opening the chest. As we exhale, we bend the knees and we hinge all the way forward, bringing the hands down onto the mat by the feet. Inhaling, we straighten the legs to lengthen, opening the chest slightly, bringing the torso parallel with the mat, drawing the shoulder blades together. And again, on the exhale, hinging ourselves forward, coming into our forward fold. And then walking the hands out, finding our downward facing dog. Nice and slowly and with control. And again, maybe giving the feet and the legs a pedal just to keep that circulation going. And then we'll slowly bring ourselves down to seated. So bringing the right foot down onto the mat, followed by the left. And taking the legs out in front of you. So again, here, when we're sitting down, it can feel quite nice to sit on something just to give yourself that elevation that I was speaking about at the beginning of the practice. So as I said, it can be anything. It can be a block, it can be a rolled blanket, it can be a cushion, it can be a bolster. So whatever you have available, and you don't have to use anything, it's completely up to you. So just popping yourself onto your prop if it's needed for you. And then taking the legs out in front of you. So just bringing yourself so you're sitting on the edge of the prop, so your seat bones are just on the edge. Flexing the feet upwards. Bringing the hands to the side of the body. Inhaling to find length. Imagine that invisible thread is pulling you upwards again. Exhaling, settling into the pose, rolling the shoulders back, closing down the eyes if you haven't already. Breathing deeply into the belly. Again, just noticing the sensations, noticing the body, noticing the breath. Has the mind wandered? Can you consciously draw it back to where you were? Draw the shoulder blades together. Bring the chin parallel with the floor. Just staying here for another breath. On the exhale, opening the eyes. Inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up and over the head. Bringing them into prayer above the head if that's comfortable. If not, just bringing them shoulder width. And then as you exhale, start to hinge forward from your hips. So drawing your inner thighs in towards your groin and bringing your hands down around your toes, around your feet, around your ankles. And holding here, coming into your forward fold. So every inhale, we're lengthening from the front of our torso, and then as we exhale, we're starting to draw our chest, our belly button, closer towards our thighs and our knees. Now you can bend the knees in this pose if it feels more accessible to you. All we want to do is feel that nice stretch in the back of the legs and keep the chest nice and open. Taking nice, big, deep belly breaths without straining. If there is any pressure in the lower part of the spine, just ease yourself out of the pose and take a modified version. Every inhale to lengthen. Every exhale, taking yourself a little bit deeper. Just relaxing the mind, bringing it back to its present state. And on the next inhale, drawing yourself back up to seated. Removing the block from underneath you and bringing the bottom down to the mat. So removing any fleshy bits from underneath you and drawing the knees close to the chest. Feet, knees, thighs are all parallel. Taking the hands behind you, allowing the hands to face forwards, and they're a couple of feet away from your bottom. On the next breath, we inhale, engaging through the core, engaging through the bottom, and starting to draw the hips and the chest up towards the ceiling, opening the chest, opening the throat, opening the airways. allowing the head to fall backwards if that feels comfortable. So we're not squeezing the bottom, we're just gently engaging it, engaging through the thighs, rolling the thighs inwards, drawing the knees towards each other, having that micro bend in the elbows if you need it. And breathing. Just opening the chest, the heart towards the ceiling can be very invigorating, very revitalizing. Take one more breath here. And then exhaling, drawing the bottom down to the mat, giving yourself a little wiggle. And we'll now take ourselves to a modified version of our shoulder stand. So to take this variation of the pose, I'll be using a bolster, but again, you can use pillows stacked on top of each other. You can use some rolled blankets. So whichever you have accessible to you, please use. So you want to be fairly close to the wall, as the legs will be going up the wall. It will depend on how tall or short you are, in terms of how close you are to the wall. So just play around with it and find what works for you, because everybody is obviously different, everybody has a different anatomy. So to start, just bring yourself fairly close to the wall and start to draw your bottom round, just making sure that there is a slight gap between the wall and your prop, and making sure that your seat bones and your bottom essentially are hanging over that gap. So you're just protecting the lower part of the spine, the top part of the back, the shoulders, the back of the head are all on the floor. Taking the legs up the wall, just allowing them to be hip width if that feels comfortable for you. Just pressing the back of the head into the mat, lifting the shoulders, and then placing them back down. Releasing through the back of the neck, and you can again place the blanket underneath the back of the neck if that feels comfortable for you, just to protect it even further. Just softening the gaze, maybe gazing at the feet, or maybe gazing at your chest if you can see the rise and fall. Just continuing to breathe deeply in this pose. And this is, as I said, a pose that really does activate our parasympathetic nervous system, so our rest and digest. So allowing our body to fully work and do what it needs to do while we relax. So allowing the arms to fall to the side, pushing the backs of the shoulders into the mat, softening through the eyelids, just allowing the wall to take the full weight of your legs. This is also an inversion, so this is getting essentially the heart above the head, getting that lovely flow of blood, oxygenated blood all the way to the face, giving us some clarity, helping us calm the mind. And you can stay here for as long as you like, but around 15 breaths should be a good enough amount of time to clear the mind. And after you're done, just bringing the feet onto the wall, lifting up through the seat, moving the prop away from you, rolling over onto your left or right hand side, coming up and bringing yourself back onto the mat. So thank you everyone for sharing your practice with me today. I hope you took from it something that you can use in the up and coming weeks. Practice, see how it makes you feel. Do it whenever you feel like you need to just rest and restore the mind, the breathing, the body. And I'll see you next time. Bye.